With hindsight, DreamWorks had every reason to bring the hair-rocking realm of Trolls to consoles and PC at some point or another. It's only now, alongside the recently aired DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing announcement, of course, that publisher Game Mill Entertainment has taken such an opportunity by the split of its scalp and sealed the deal with developer Petit Fabric. And if the so-called DreamWorks Trolls Remix Rescue is everything its creators are claiming it to be, then fans of the music-loving franchise are sure to be in for a real treat when it eventually rolls out on all major platforms later this year. Let it be said that there's still a fair amount we don't actually know about the upcoming 3D platformer, other than the fact it'll blend familiar musical scores with traditional platforming and sandbox elements. For what it's worth, though, here's everything we've been able to collect on it since first hearing of its existence just under a week ago. Let's talk Trolls. Let's get straight into it. What is Trolls Remix Rescue, and how will it look to transform the beloved animation into a full-fledged platforming video game? Well, to put it short, Trolls Remix Rescue will give players the chance to create their own melody-loving troll and embark on an epic quest to save the Trolls Kingdom from calamity. And not just the ability to play as a custom character, but a whole bunch of familiar faces from the DreamWorks franchise, including Poppy, Branch, and more. From the looks of what we've seen so far, the game itself will follow a fairly similar pattern as the ones depicted in Crash and Spyro. Scratch that, the same as the most bog-standard platforming favorites, for that matter. So, if the thought of gallivanting around as Poppy to the Trolls rendition of Lionel Richie's Hello sounds like your idea of a fun time, then you've only just gone and found your next grand adventure. As far as the storyline goes, DreamWorks Trolls Remix Rescue will center its universe around none other than the melody-bopping Trolls Kingdom, an idyllic and flawlessly vibrant world that's apparently on the brink of facing a realm-shattering calamity. As a fresh-faced troll, you will take your place in the ranks and learn how to harness the power of hairjitsu, a troll-inspired form that sees its masters utilizing various combat techniques with nothing more than a headband and matted hair. How very Trolls-y. Only players can save the Trolls Kingdom from calamity in DreamWorks Trolls Remix Rescue, reads the blurb. Players will travel across the magical world of Trolls, from Poppy and Branch's Pop Village to Barb's Volcano Rock City and Cooper's Vibe City, all to stop a melodic mastermind who's trying to alter the Trolls' musical harmony forever. They'll be able to play as beloved Trolls characters like Poppy, Branch, and more. Players can also create their own troll to jump, explore, dance, and master the art of hairjitsu. As well as the traditional single-player platforming-based campaign, Trolls Remix Rescue will also include a series of rhythm-based mini-games and multiplayer modes to compete in. In addition, there'll be multiple characters to play as, a roster that will make room for all the primary heroes of the Trolls Kingdom and its various movie adaptations. Players can use their troll's hair to whip at enemies, twirl it to rise up and hover like a helicopter, and use it to grab, carry, swing, throw, and smash objects along an exciting quest, the description adds. Compete to the beat in rhythm-based mini-games while solving fun and challenging environmental puzzles to unlock special new items and abilities. News of DreamWorks Trolls Remix Rescue first came to light earlier this week, right around the time Game Mill Entertainment also teased its second joint venture with the animation studio, DreamWorks All-Stars Kart Racing. Going by what's been said, both of the aforementioned games will be aiming to release before year's end on all major platforms. In case you missed it, Trolls Remix Rescue is being developed by Petit Fabric, the same creator that brought life to 3D platformer Cuckoo's Lost Pets back in 2021. Going by its portfolio, the upcoming Trolls video game adaptation will be its second project, which, like Cuckoo's Lost Pets, will also release on consoles and PC. EA Sports has delivered a bloody good time with UFC 5, a title that truly feels like a new-gen experience in the octagon. EA has given the MMA simulator series a few years off since UFC 4's 2020 release, and it's paid off significantly. In that time, a new game engine has helped UFC 5 become the most realistic-looking fighter on the market that is incredibly satisfying to play and easy for newcomers to enjoy. EA's Fight Night Round 3 blew players away when it was released on Xbox 360 in 2006, with its revolutionary visuals and slow-motion impact knockouts that showed off what the new hardware was capable of. More than 15 years later, EA has done it again with UFC 5 on current-gen consoles. Incredible lighting techniques help the sweat and blood of each fighter glisten in an octagon that now grows a tapestry of blood during a fight. Improved face rigs and strand-based hair physics have dramatically enhanced the likeness of each fighter in the game. Each fighter looks better than ever, including surprising DLC additions of iconic fighters like Bruce Lee, Mike Tyson, and Muhammad Ali. However, with UFC 5's new damage system, it can get difficult to recognize the legends after the end of a brutal bout. Damage taken throughout each fight accumulates and can even open up areas for opponents to focus on to win a fight. Too much damage to a particular area will weaken its usefulness, and spamming attacks will exhaust any fighter, making careless players easy targets in the ring. Between the new damage system's cuts, bruises, swelling, and bleeding damage, UFC 5 has more than 64,000 different combinations of injuries that can accumulate and affect a fighter's performance. While EA chose not to recreate the grossest injuries MMA has seen, a new mechanic introduces a doctor who can call a fight if an injury becomes too dangerous. While EA is known for releasing annual sports games, it's clear that EA Vancouver benefited greatly by having the extra development time for UFC 5, which shows. From the incredibly impactful sound design that explodes with any significant strike to the dramatically epic slow-motion replays, UFC 5 proves what being given more time than EA's annual releases can accomplish. Players can create fighters and learn what it takes to be a UFC champ in the game's career mode. UFC 5's updated control mechanics are introduced within the mode's first few levels, making even inexperienced players feel comfortable on the map before too long. EA Vancouver has also taken a page from Street Fighter SIX's book with a new AI-assisted control scheme that simplifies controls to the point where the game will decide which type of punch and kick should be used in battle. However, the AI assistance felt too simplified, with only one button for punching, kicking, clenching, and takedowns. UFC 5's new controls are not too difficult to master with the game's tutorials and Coach Davis's help. Tutorials and running practice drills against the AI before a big fight are an easy way to learn how to execute moves, while evolution points that can be assigned to boost a fighter's stats permanently. Other UFC fighters also teach the player's character new techniques that can be set to almost any button with UFC 5's incredibly varied accessibility options. Different game styles with adjusted rules and gameplay mechanics can be toyed within the game's options for offline modes. For example, players can remove the chance of taking specific injuries, shift the gameplay to focus on knockout brawls, or a personal favorite, one option that removes the helpful HUD and strives to be as realistic as possible with a simulation setting. Many changes have made UFC 5 an excellent entry for new players. The previously complex submission minigame no longer breaks up the action. Instead, once two fighters are made to show off their ground game, each fighter controls UFC 5's new seamless submissions with a single joystick, similar to a rock-paper-scissors bout. Legacy controls also welcome EA UFC veterans to flex their skills and discover new depths against newer players who can now stand a chance with updated controls. Not every mode in UFC 5 supports the AI-assisted controls, with the online modes locked into the competitive game-style rules so that all players are on equal footing. While players can jump into a quick match to start fighting online, UFC 5 offers more than the standard matchmaking multiplayer mode. Online career mode is separate from single player and allows players to create 4 different online fighters. There, they will rise up the online ranks and level their fighters' stats while learning new moves to fight against other human players. UFC 5 also includes more modes that will be updated regularly with new challenges for offline and online players. Blitz Battles is another online mode that tasks players to win short matches with ever-changing rules, which embraces a more arcade-type feel. Fight Week is a new mode that will sync with real-life UFC events and even allow players to bet on the outcome of anticipated battles to win in-game currency and compete in the Fight Picks leaderboards. Fight Contracts will also provide updated daily challenges for offline battles against AI opponents that grow in difficulty over the course of a week. Fight Week content begins the week of November 6th ahead of UFC 295 and was unavailable during the review period. If online multiplayer seems intimidating, offline modes will provide many hours of entertainment, especially with UFC 5's customizable local multiplayer. While career mode story and cutscenes help build a narrative around the player's fighter, its gameplay loop can start to feel stale quickly. Players complete the same training exercises and organize promotional events leading to their next fights. Spending a weekly allowance of points to conduct such activities can also be used to learn new techniques. UFC 5's campaign could have benefited from some drama or a storyline that saw fighters clash outside the octagon. While there are many good things to say about UFC 5, it still has some bugs with its physics to work out. There are times when parts of character models will bend and contort in unnatural ways, which is hard to miss during slow-motion finisher replays. Still, the game has improved many of its animations from previous installments and delivered a level of realism with its visuals and presentation that has set a new bar. EA's UFC 5 is a wonderful showcase of what current hardware is capable of and a brutally good time, especially with hard-hitting multiplayer matches with friends. Attention all fans of Star Trek, Resurgence is the new kid on the block. It's time to enter the digital starship of imagination and embark on a new cosmic odyssey. Undeniably, the Star Trek timeline has been bumpy but genuinely exceptional. With more than 100 video game adaptations, the franchise has stood the test of time despite receiving heavy competition from Star Wars. However, Star Trek continues to win the hearts of its fans with its ethical and moral inclinations. This philosophical aspect of Star Trek appeals to those who enjoy thought-provoking storytelling and discussions about the human condition. Sticking to tradition, Dramatic Labs recently unveiled a new title that will have you forging alliances, engaging in interstellar diplomacy, and testing the mettle of your adversaries. Enough with the praise, let's see whether this title deserves a seat at the table. Here's our Star Trek Resurgence review. Resurgence hits the ground running by going where other games have never gone before, a Telltale-style adventure. Unlike other games in the franchise that primarily focus on combat, Resurgence emphasizes building meaningful relationships as its central theme in navigating the marauding conflict on the starship. The game picks up a year after Star Trek, Nemesis, and 16 years post The Next Generation. The game's storyline unravels from the perspectives of two characters, engineering crewperson Carter Diaz and First Officer Jara Rydek. All crew members are donning DS9 designed uniforms. Right off the bat, Dramatic Labs serves a dish full of conflict, capturing the true essence of the franchise. Jara's arrival on the first ship as First Officer sparks controversy among other crew members. Some people don't see him as fit to be the next First Officer after the unfortunate demise of the former XO, Executive Officer. Carter is part of the engineering team, striving relentlessly yet elusive admiration from their Vulcan boss. He appears to have much to juggle between appeasing his disgruntled boss, maintaining friendships, and meeting his personal goals. On the other hand, the Resolute is recovering from a previous attack that took the lives of several crew members. Consequently, the staff blames Captain Zachary Solano for the losses and for bringing an outsider to the spaceship instead of promoting one of them. Now, Solano looks up to Jara to revitalize his integrity with his team. The Resolute embarks on its first mission, which, impressively, also involves Spock. However, this stretched out the storyline a bit, considering the Romulan Senate faced his death a year earlier. You'd expect Spock to be in Romulus, picking up the pieces with the unification movement. Anyway, in retrospect, two alien races are at war, and it's up to the galactic crew to mediate the conflict. It turns out that one race used its technological prowess to overthrow the other. However, an ion storm stops them in their tracks after they uncover its divergent properties. This is just a scratch on the game's story depth. Truthfully, this is a lot to unpack, and the game is barely an hour in. But you've got to appreciate Dramatic Lab's efforts in meticulously establishing each character. Moreover, the storyline is reminiscent of the TNG series, capturing every hair-raising moment and boiling it down to making sound decisions. Thankfully, you can revisit the game and explore other options to see how it plays out. If you want to keep track of your decisions and how they impact the game, you can do so from the main menu. The game gives you a QR code that presents an external view of the damage or improvement you'll be causing. However, offering this feedback in the game would be better than redirecting players to another website. Moreover, making decisions is not all you'll be doing. The game has a series of QuickTime events that occur at any given time. The events unfold in every direction you look, so you don't have to worry about missing out on the action. You play the game from the perspective of the two likable characters, Jara and Carter. Swapping between the two characters gives a different view of the game as it unfolds. You'll soon uncover the special relationship between the crew on the bridge and those on the lower decks. If you're not issuing orders from the bridge, you could take a spacewalk to fix the Resolute or power up a critical system. Either way, instances in the game are organically nurtured to give you a perspective on every character's stake. Moreover, the two main protagonists barely have direct interactions, but the game constantly reminds you of their essence. As the game unfolds through a series of decision-making, it will help if you are quick in selecting an option before the timer runs out. Any decision you make as Jara and Carter has a weighted impact on the entire crew and ship. It also changes your perception of other characters. For instance, as Carter, you must navigate the ship's mechanics with seasonal finesse, or else you jeopardize the entire mission. In contrast, as Jara said, any decision you make could also impact Carter if it's wrong. Furthermore, how you relate to the crew members keeps the storyline's wheel in motion. It's not about enchanting their senses with an irresistible allure. You need to be logical about your decision-making, as if the fate of mankind depends on it. Well, not the entire mankind, but your crew. Although combat is far from the game's focus, you'll have plenty of activities to keep you busy, from using tools to open compartments to scanning the ship with your tricorder. There's never a dull moment aboard the Resolute. Aside from impeccable storytelling, Dramatic Labs raises the bar with stunning yet mediocre visuals and character design. Each character portrays a unique personality and is beautifully animated. Thankfully, we don't get to see a Sonic the Hedgehog design flaw that would call for reanimation. Every element in the game appears surreal, including how the characters express emotions. However, the game wasn't designed to have top-tier graphics. What it offers suffices, considering the Unreal Engine powers the game. Moreover, the Resolute's design resonates closely with other vessels in the Star Trek movies. More specifically, the Excelsior in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Dramatic Labs chose to stay close to the franchise by sticking to the same interior design. That being said, everything in the game appears so blue. In some instances, it feels overwhelming due to the game's style and use of exaggerated colors. Additionally, the game's sound effects are the cream of the crop. It adds to the immersive experience of the space venture, from the timed beeps to the gush of air released when the door opens. Everything is done with timeless precision. Not to forget the soundtrack, which grounds every emotion a character portrays. For example, as Captain Solano reminisces on the tragic accident that befell the Resolute, the accompanying music transports you to the moment of impact and the chaotic struggle to save lives. As much as Resurgence excels at reigniting the authentic Trek experience, it has its fair share of flaws. At the time of release, the game presented numerous glitches, especially on PC. For instance, the dialogue lines either start early or end late. Or the game crashes when returning to the menu. We've also received reports of sluggish loads on PS4 and busy cutscenes. The glitches take away the cinematic climax of various scenes, which can be utterly frustrating. Notwithstanding, Star Trek: Resurgence still provides an invaluable venture into the galactic enterprise, which appeals to fans of the franchise.